Well, I'll tell you first, when I told my students that we were doing Orwell, it has not been on the high school reading list for this particular school. Like it hasn't been in rotation for curriculum in about 3 or 4 years. So there might not be any students who have been required to read it. Some students have read it. And they were like, oh, so this is like a political thing. And I was like, not in the way that you'd expect. It wasn't so much that Orwell was writing in favor of, you know, the proverbial left or the right. It was more to do with the idea that not so much one party or another would overtake the people, but more the idea that if people became complacent as a whole and got too comfortable, they may sacrifice too much or all of their personal liberties in exchange for the illusion of safety and stability. So forfeiting all freedom for stability is sort of the great warning that Orwell has for us. And when I was asked if the idea of a senior class play, as is tradition here at CSD, was a possibility, I asked what my parameters were, and they said, well, you have to do masks, which I completely agreed with. But my brain first thought of the idea of why don't, instead of doing a play in spite of these rules and regulations, why not do a play where these rules and regulations would only serve to enhance the narrative? And now, especially this generation of the children that I teach, you know, the surveillance is that you're almost helping, whether you have a social media account or whether you're one of those YouTubers or Snapchat or Instagram Live, or I don't even know what the new one is, TikTok, I think. But I mean, it's like you're constantly putting yourself on camera and you're constantly letting people know where you are, sharing your location, this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, aside from you and the person you're sharing it with, there's always somebody watching. And so when it came to presenting this to the kids, in all honesty, like at first they were like, what is this? And as I got along to and we got into rehearsing, and they were like, I'm just going to do it because it's my senior year and I didn't think we were going to have a show. And as we have gotten along with it, they are getting every week more and more excited. Like the way we're going about doing things, the twists and turns. It's making me very proud as a first-time teacher. And prior to auditions, a good number of these students I had never met before. So they are, they're hard workers. They are motivated and dedicated. And yeah, it's a great joy to sort of see the numbness that has taken hold of so many of us in the past year, the numbness of what an isolated senior year might look like. Before we started rehearsals, I was like, so we're going to pre-record this whole thing. Like the students are going to come in, they're going to pre-record all their lines, and that way, you know, because 30 microphones, 30 students, 30 masks, you shove that up under there and you're going to get a lot of like, so to get around that, I was like, well, let's just have them come in one by one and pre-record all their lines. So with that, on top of the fact that they're up here and the audience has to be back some bit, and you can't see their face, in what is like an insufferably bleak story, we have been having fun with the fact that people will know it, and they will know that they are watching theater in a pandemic. So I was like, treat it like a silent movie. Like all of their gestures are a little bit over the top, and we're having fun with that. Like it's a lot of fun to like kind of watch that happen, and to sort of like set the mood in the sense that you've come to 1984 in the weirdest year in your personal life. I decided an interesting choice for an interesting year.